What's up guys, welcome back to part number 4 of my SU-33 build. So this week we're going to work on the vertical stabilizers, otherwise known as the tails, the horizontal stabilizers, and the wing fold in the main fuselage, the little detail down the side there. Won't be a long video today, pretty short, so let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so I'm going to work my way through instructions now and kind of track back a little bit and take care of some of the smaller sub-assemblies we missed and still got to take care of. So we're going to start with stabilizers, vertical stabilizers, as they say here, all the tails. We have a left and a right. Looks like pretty straightforward. It's like 2 parts, and then you got a rudder and a couple of little bits that go on. So it doesn't look too difficult there at all. So I'm going to start cutting pieces off the sprues and putting these together. I'll be right back to let you guys know how they're going along and if there's any problems, that kind of stuff. Alrighty, so stabilizers together, no problems at all. I've got the pegs holding where it's dried. So, nothing to show here, just 2 parts and a rudder and a couple of little bits on the back. These guys, yeah, right, I don't think that's going to last through paint and weathering. We'll see. Maybe we should add those at the very end. But this one's built up. And so what I did at the bottom of Sharpie, I just wrote, so I know later. So this one's right. And this one's left. Pegs off that too, and no real problems at all. Having a couple of parts, again, lost the carpet monster again. I swear, I like the past couple of weeks on this kit, I lost more stuff in the carpet monster than I have in like the past like 5 years combined. The parts are so tiny. I just know if it goes in if it pings off or goes anywhere, I'm just never going to find it. I didn't bother looking anymore, to be honest with you. So down here, there's a little tiny part. So the one pinged off was from this one. Again, you're not really going to notice or see that. It's so tiny. This little guy right there. So there you go. Again, lovely service detail. Looking forward to getting some wash on this and painted and stuff later. So those guys are done, the tails, or the vertical stabilizers. So that section now is done, which is, oh, one thing I should note too is another problem, another error in instructions. So it says E18, it should be E8. So E8 for the right stabilizer. It's pretty apparent because when you on the sprue, there's only one big giant piece left, so it's obviously going to be E8. So just typo there, make note of that one. So this guy's done. Now we're going to flip forward a few pages, and where is it? We're going to do the horizontal stabilizers now, which is part 30. So we did the vertical, now we're going to do horizontal. So looks like not too many parts. So it looks like you have broken down by left and the right on each side. I'm guessing. Turn to the next page and see. Yeah. So you kind of got a line down here. So you got a left and a right, and looks like there's a few parts and PE going on and stuff. So as always, I'll get these pieces cut off and cleaned up. If there's anything to show you guys, I'll go through it. If not, I'll just throw them together. I don't think it's gonna be that complicated. But hey, you never know with this kit. So next up, right here is number 30, which is the folded horizontal stabilizer. Alrighty, so I built them up. I should have mentioned it before, but I think it's self-explanatory, but 30 is if you want it folded up. 30, well, the splits too. So the top half is if you want it folded up, the bottom if you want it unfolded, kind of down. So obviously scored through that one, so we're not doing that, we're doing the top, we're doing everything folded up. So put them together. This is a little tricky. I got a little confused because this looks like it's bended. The photo etch is bent, like 90 degrees, but actually it goes on like that. So here's my 2 parts. That bit's coming off a little bit. So the photo etch goes on like that, with like a little gap at the bottom, and then what happens is you just glue that like that in the folder position. So I did glue this one, got all nice and glued and like, you know, in place like this. Then I realized, it's gonna be a problem. How am I gonna paint that at a 90-degree angle? It's gonna be a nightmare. So I managed to get it off, pull it off, separate it. So it's best to leave these off. Maybe I'm just gonna mask tape them together so we know which one goes to which. But don't glue it right now, because I'll show you why. Because if you go back to the instructions, this is the top right here of each, and you see how the camera goes across both parts. So if you've got it like that glued in place, you got to mask and paint on the angle. It's going to be really tricky. Whereas it's separate, you can mask it or place them together even, like this, mask it, paint it, and once you're done, you can glue them like that in place. It's gonna be way easier. So that's a quick tip with that one. No problem at all. It's a nice bit of photo etch goes down the inside. Like I say, then the two pieces go like that on the piece, and it just glues in place like that. Now again, it looks a little confusing, the photo etch, but to just go on the end like flat like that. They don't get bent like the instructions kind of led you to believe. So that's the horizontal stabilizers. Cool. So I put those in my box of parts too, and we'll move on to the next bit. All right, before we move on to the next part, I just want to show something I do to kind of keep things organized, especially with building sub-assemblies like this. So I went to a dollar store, actually Dollar Tree, last week, and believe it or not, this cost me $1. So I bought this Tupperware, and you see I'm putting my parts in there as I build them, and then just keeps them all nice and out the way so I don't break them and stuff, and they're all in one place. So I mentioned earlier, well, just right now, I just masked those two, the horizontal stabilizers in place, probably left and right. So we're also going to paint those separately. So just mask those up. We've got the wheel wells we built, the tails, all kinds of stuff. So just like nice little Tupperware. It's quite shallow. It's probably about 4 inches deep. And yeah, it's a cool little thing. So again, dollar store, pick up cheap Tupperwares like this, and they're perfect, to keep all the stuff out of harm's way and all in one place. So that little infomercial out of the way. Let's go ahead and we're going to carry on and we'll do the wing fold assembly. I don't want to do the canopy right now. We'll skip that page. Again, we're going to kind of go backwards and forwards. I'm sure it's a little confusing, but it kind of makes sense in the end because I'm building these sub-assemblies, as I mentioned several times, and it all comes together at the very end. So, wing fold assembly, section 28. So read for instructions. What I believe is if you're having the wings folded, you're going to do section 28. If you want the wings down, you're going to do 29. So I score for 29, so we're going to do 28, obviously, so having it folded. So it looks like basically we have top, we have the starboard side, the right side, and the bottom is the left of the port side. So basically it's a piece of plastic that goes down the side of the upper fuselage with tons of little detail and kind of greeblies and stuff in it. So PE, we're probably going to skip that to be honest with you, and all these bits of plastic and stuff. So we've got a left and a right, and then we have a couple of parts go on top. The E12 and 13 go on top of the main fuselage there. It's cool. So I'm going to get these parts taken care of. Again, I'm not sure there's much to show you. It might be one of those where I just kind of do it off camera. Again, if there's any part number issues and stuff, I'll be right back and kind of let you guys know if there's any issues with the instructions. But I'll go ahead and start putting these guys together. Tons of little parts. I'm sure half of them will ping off on the floor. But we'll see how we go. Alrighty, so I've done the top one, which is the right side. And that's added in. I'm not sure you can see the shine on the camera, but I painstakingly went through and added all the photo etch along the top there. Tiny little microscopic photo etch, watchmaker kind of stuff going on. I'm just very nervous. These small parts, again, when you come in a paint mask and paint this, those get ripped off, and I'm not sure. I'm a little bit nervous about all these little parts on this kit, but I guess we'll see when we get there. When we get to painting and stuff, if it all stays on or if it, just gets ripped off with masking tape or whatever. But the only thing to note here is, so you build it, I built it per the directions, and then when you put it to install it, it actually switches your way around, so you do it upside down. So you took it, spin it around, and then it fits perfectly. So basically you have the two kind of like holes kind of towards the back. So these two holes are towards the rear, not the front, and it fits in perfect like that. Again, all these little hook thing goes across, photo etch hooks kind of on the top here. And looking good. So that's that side done. Also added 2 parts on here into the speed brake, just to cut one part there, nothing really to explain there, just straight in, E12 and 13. There's a decal that goes back here. Obviously we're going to paint all this thing up, and being square, I'm guessing we'll just mask and paint it when time comes, so there's no point putting a big square if it's just plain. Cool, so crossing off as we go, pen's not working now. Done that. Now we're down to here, so I'm going to do the other side. So the other side's pretty much the same as what I just did here, so good 30-45 minutes work to get all this tiny little bits put together and greeblies and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've done the other side, and I did the obligatory knocking over the extra thin. So open the windows, let some air in, feeling high as a kite with all the extra thin smell everywhere. So I think this will be the end of the video for this part. So that side's done, no problem at all. Again, put all the tiny little photo etch in. I'm just concerned. I mean, when we hadn't even put the whole underside of the fuselage in yet. This stuff's so delicate. I'm worried it's going to snap off. So we'll see how we go with that one. But yeah, went in, mold trick again. It's just super tiny detail, watchmaker kind of stuff. But I did it, got it done. I think the key with me with this kit and how I'm getting on with it so far is, when I get to these detailed parts, I spend like an hour doing it, and that's it. I'll walk away and come back to it in a few more days and do a little bit more. I just can't sit there for hours and end doing this fiddly stuff. It's just me personally. So it seems to be working okay. So I've done this little fiddly part here. This section's done, which concludes part number 28. Part 28. So we're done with this page, and we're ready to move on to the next section. So, smacking with instructions. So I'm going to take a break from this one for a few more days and work on something else, and I'll come back to it and continue working as always. And as I mentioned in the previous parts, whenever I get a sub-assembly done, I'll get a part thrown up, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. Whenever I get around to it and get the mojo working on this one, I'll continue. So thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.